What's the best way to ruin a perfectly good bout of depression? For me, it's getting things accomplished. My depression tends to come on badly when I feel overwhelmed with life. I'll make a checklist of things I need to get done, sometimes even breaking one task into 3, 5 smaller, bite-sized bits. The sense of accomplishment I feel by physically marking them done makes me feel better. I also use a daily checklist for my bare minimums. It includes take a shower, pack lunch for work tomorrow so I don't feel guilty about washing money at the food court or starving myself, drink water, under 6 times equals 3 bottles of water. I find checking it off after each half bottle gives me a better sense of accomplishment. Take vitamins, and like 3 other things. I use an app for it, so I always have it handy and it keeps me motivated during the day. I totally feel this. At the end of the day, my depression tells me that I have achieved nothing at all ever. So I have a notebook and I just catalog small things I do. Stretching, taking medicine, any progress towards any goal I have whatsoever. E.g., watched a couple episodes of a TV show I'm trying to finish. Showering, cleaning, even when it's small things like that, just looking back and seeing that I did something is often enough to ward off at least the darkest thoughts. Lock down your sleep schedule. I can't stress enough how much this helped me. Go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day. I've come to the slow realization that my career doesn't bode well with my mental health. Being a chef the last 10 years has ruined me physically and mentally. A steady schedule that includes a regular sleep pattern is a dream of mine, pun not intended. But I'm glad that I recognize this and I'm working towards leaving the industry for my own health. Please do not be a chef, young people. It ages you at an incredible rate. Working 16 hours straight, then 4 or 5 hours sleep to get up and do it again is a surefire way to think about suicide a lot. I've heard this phrased as give yourself the opportunity to sleep your full 8 hours during a regular scheduled window. Doesn't matter if you actually sleep during it or not until you get used to it, just that you actually were in bed during that window and only during that window. What worked for me was listening to podcasts while going to sleep. Figured that if I can't fall asleep for hours, might as well learn something during that time. Took a few days, but now it only takes 30-45 minutes to doze off. Though usually if it's bad enough, it's worth to see a sleep psychiatrist. I taught my dog to high-five me. When I'm upset, he will jump onto my lap and give me a very enthusiastic high-five. Ruins my depression every time. No matter how alone or useless I feel, that high five makes me feel connected again, and I realize that even if I don't feel important at the time, my dog thinks I'm the greatest person in the world. After landing myself in the hospital for mental health and physical health, autoimmune shit, I got a pug. Now I have 4 rescue dogs, and I'm always covered in big and small lumps of unconditional love, and I'm the happiest goddamn person ever. They are 100% the reason I was able to beat depression. Dogs. Petting a good boy is always a cure. This is a real thing. Petting animals can lower blood pressure and decrease cortisol levels. I really need to get something fluffy and fun. Honestly, doing something nice for someone. Tell your parents you love them. If you do, apologize to someone you may have hurt, etc. Just go do something. Go do everything. My depression is linked to me overthinking. So the best thing I can do is climb a fucking mountain and quit jerking myself off at my computer monitor. I decided to do exactly this last year. Wound up falling down the mountain and unable to climb back the way I fell. I took a path that eventually might lead to civilization. It didn't. It led to a waterfall. I was lost for 6 hours before I found a solid path home, in the dark, without water. Had a lot of good introspection thinking I might fall further and die. 10 of 10 would almost die again. Fuck, I'm glad you made it. That's fucking scary. I'm sure you're glad to have had the experience though. Look how fucking resilient you are. Nature wanted to fuck you up. Taking a shower. Sometimes just that simple act of getting out of bed starts a snowball effect that helps interrupt a depressive cycle. Also, puppy cuddles. Quick edit. This won't cure depression by any means. It took me years of meds and therapy to help me manage it properly. But if I feel myself start to slide, this helps me interrupt the cycle that drags me down further. Brushing your teeth, showering, getting dressed, taking the recycling out, etc. Little things lead to bigger things. I believe in giving yourself wins. One of the insidious parts of depression is that it makes you think irrational thoughts about why you can't accomplish seemingly simple tasks. Things to the effect of, you're a disgusting piece of shit because you don't shower every day, actively replacing those thoughts with, I took a shower today, and then riding that high helps continue that feeling of pride and productivity. I can do more things today because I feel clean. It's easier to clean up more around the house because I already started, etc. If anyone who happens to read this came to this thread because those guilty thoughts plague you, practice changing your perspective to a more positive one. It's not the cure-all for depression, but it will help alleviate those seconds, minutes, and hours that make the illness feel like you're drowning. Give yourself a win. I love this. That's all it takes. Give yourself a win. For me, it's making my bed. Because no matter how shitty my day was and I had to work and whatever else happens, I come home to a nicely made mat to curl up in. Studies say that exercising helps alleviate depression. They also say your brain processes familiar TV characters as friends. Exercise is way underappreciated. You'll feel a lot better if you exert your glorious instrument of a body and get it moving. You could try doing something creative or mentally stimulating in your free time. Draw, write, read, bake, Duolingo, video games, anything other than sitting and absorbing tiny bites of information on the internet. I know it's fun, but Reddit threads are like mental potato chips. One zero effort bite after another, not really good for you. And before you know it, it's midnight and you're eating an entire bag. Commit to breaking out of the rut. Stop the time wasters in your free time, YouTube, Reddit, etc., and commit to 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be the gym, jog, brisk walk, etc. What do you do for work? I cycle to and from work every day now. I feel fitter, I have energy when I get home, and I look forward to it every morning. Best thing is that I still have the same amount of free time. Instead of sitting on a bus, I'm getting my exercise done. No one said cleaning yet? I pick up people's leaves in the fall and use them in my gardens. So pick up an old lady's leaves. Tell her you will rake them, but only if she lets you take them and use them in your gardens. You want a new best friend? That's how you make a new best friend. I can't wait for my next fall Mary. It's actually quite scary how your brain works when you're depressed. I've been feeling really down lately and my thoughts have become really dark. I've started to think no one of my friends really like me, or that I'll die alone because there's something horribly wrong with me. It's horrible how your own brain tries to poison you. Remind yourself that your thinking can't be trusted in that moment. That things are better and you're better than how your mind would have you believe. Force yourself into the first step of whatever will distract you and make you feel happy, even if it's a temporary fix, because each next step gets easier as you move. Think about your loved ones and what you can do for them to make their lives happier, and it'll help you to get outside of your head.